Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video number 362, Ley Lines. This is something that was specifically requested by a subscriber some time ago, so I figured it's about time to make this video. The concept of ley lines is now an older concept, and the idea is that there are sort of magical invisible lines that connect different archaeological sites, especially of a spiritual or astronomical nature, across the world. That is, that if you draw straight lines around the world's circumference, and you manipulate them just right, of course, along no particular equilibrium, that they will connect multiple sites. Now, there are several problems with this. The original theory of ley lines had to do with travelers' routes between archaeological sites that were potentially astronomical in nature. It didn't have any spiritual significance. That is, that the fact that there would be potentially a line between multiple temples or whatever could effectively be nothing more than a mystical polemic, number one, or the shortest distance between 2 points being a straight line, number two. It wouldn't be a surprise, like within a city. Think of it this way. 1,000 years from now, society has collapsed, and aliens are digging up the remains of what was our civilization. And they go to Manhattan. What are they going to find? Huge number of straight lines. If they go to any city in the world, pretty much, they're going to find a lot of straight lines. They're going to find religious constructs along those lines. Does this mean that there is a mystic significance to this? No. It means that straight lines are used in city development for a reason. It's more efficient than having a road that zigzags around and does curly cues up the side of a mountain and then comes down and slides sideways through a valley in order to get to the next temple, the next village or whatever. Generally, if it is a straight line, it's simply going to be easier. Some of them will orient with the sun. Partially, this is just mere pragmatism. Oh, the sun doesn't shine directly in my windows for the most part. It's an advantage. Hey, I've got south-facing windows. Now I get lots of sun and I'm in a cold climate. This is advantageous too. The original concept was simply that roads or lines between sites would exist due to traveling. That is, that it was more efficient. What ended up happening is that the fact that there are at least short-distance linear arrangements of temples and sacred caves and so forth has led some people to believe that it has some sort of mystical significance. That is, that there was not just astronomy involved, but aliens, ancient aliens comes in with ley lines, energy centers, bands of energy around the world. This was not even proposed by the original founding mentality behind the concept of ley lines. The idea of a traveler's ley line, to lay down, I believe quite literally, forsaken by these individuals. Drawing lines between archaeological sites is also hilarious, because you can extrapolate a significance to sites in modernity that may or may not have existed in antiquity. For instance, ancient man populated a large scope of the world and built multiple, thousands and thousands of significant structures of religious nature, just in the Roman Empire, for example. Untold tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of sites all around the world, dating to different periods, to different empires, to different civilizations, with various different purposes of a sub-spiritual or similar nature. If you have that many data points on a roughly spherical object, like the Earth, now it is not flat, it's round, you will automatically find that if you draw a line around the circumference of the planet, or more or less, and you manipulate it around, you're going to connect different sites. When I see a list of the sites that they claim are significant, they're negating the existence of literally tens or hundreds of thousands of other sites that don't lie on that line. They're simply giving artificial significance to some of them. The other problem is, in some cases, it's not really a straight line now, is it? A site can be within 50 miles of the ley line, and, well, it sort of fits, basically. It's more or less on a line. It's not deviated that far. They must have made a miscalculation or something. To be clear, therefore, in summation of ley lines, as an occultist, as someone interested in astronomy and astrology as well, I do not find it to be particularly compelling. It looks more like astronomy plus architecture plus a real cherry-picking bias of the actual points that you could connect. So you would say, well, this pyramid in Egypt lines up with some random little ruin in New England, which may or may not even be from antiquity, one of the stone cairns perhaps from New England or northern New York, and then it lines up with this object that we found in Australia that we think might be megalithic. That has nothing to do with any cultures that communicated with each other. They're not using necessarily the same mathematical or astronomical systems. It's just that there are so many such sites that if you continue to manipulate that line around, you're going to be able to connect possibly dozens of megalithic entities. As long as you fix for them being important and the ones not on your line not being important, then everything falls into place. If you look at all the data points, everything falls apart. That's about all. Peace out.